Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live from Beyond. My name is Kevin. I'm going to be the GM tonight, and we are playing Eternal Lies. This is the sixth session of Eternal Lies Bangkok, and it is July 18th, 2017. These guys, they're going to be playing the investigators tonight. So, guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hello, everybody. My name is Alex, and I'm playing Detective Damon Smoke. Things are not going well for Damon. The people around him are dropping like flies. Some of his friends are going insane. And then there is a giant, I don't even know, mouth that we need to dispose of. I'm talking like big.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I'm playing, I'm along for the ride with Kitty Kennedy, one of those flies dropping and friends going insane.
Alright. My name is Kim, and I'm playing Nicholas Saliba, who is had his first real jolt, to his sanity. We'll see. We'll see whether he can stand his ground or if it's a slippery slope.
All right. So, you guys, we'll start with some questions, and these questions are going to be centered on a particular character. The question will be, why? What has What has Nicholas's group grown to, or role in the group grown to be, and he can have several roles, but elucidate one sort of facet of what his role in the group has grown to be since he joined. And how it's sort of affected him.
So you want to start with me first?
Yeah.
Or you know what? Let's start with Nicola first, or with Kim first, because he's the one that's.
Right. Oh, you can't give him that much agency over his own character.
We all get to have some.
I mean, he's kind of the cool guy, leader of the group. Only competent one.
Best sharpshooter.
Yeah. Best fighter, best shooter, best mouth destroyer. So what has Nicola's role become? I don't know. I think he's still a little bit of a jack of all trades at this point, and also kind of along for the ride, right? He doesn't have the background that, in this case, Kitty and Damon has. I think he's still trying to figure out what exactly it is he can do to help. He's curious, but I also don't think he really fully understands yet.
All right.
So, Nicola has sort of become the unofficial pillar of sanity for some of the group. Reason being is because the group has seen their friends and family and even loved ones, just other, I guess, NPCs or whatever, other characters in the game die, lose their mind, see crazy stuff, just go insane overall. And so the only one that seems to be remotely or less affected by that is Nicola, right? Because he's been along for the ride a little shorter than everybody else. So he's taken on that role as kind of the stable one, right? So
okay.
That's why sometimes people turn to him.
Okay, cool.
Kitty just can't stop staring at him because he's so incredibly handsome.
And now that Santiago's dead, the position's open.
Long, dangly tentacles running out of his nose.
Yeah. So part of it's a little tough because Kitty doesn't really see Nicola as anything anymore other than a screaming, horrible break between the realities. But before that, Kitty actually saw. I don't know if she would agree with the whole pillar thing exactly, but she saw him as noble because in her head he was linked with the knights. of Malta, or whatever they're more.
Kitty is the Knights of Malta.
Well, I mean, you can. This is a question you can project onto Nicola if you want.
You don't have to be from Kitty's point of view.
Yeah.
So Nicola is very noble and is like the representation of the Knights of Malta. He's more like he's like the original cool cat with his connection there. Unlike these guys who've just sort of joined.
Fair enough.
And the nobility in him is what led him to even like be able to handle that first shock when he was sitting in the sitting room and everybody was just like, and by the way, there's demons and alternate realities and people dying, and he was like,
here come the tentacle monsters.
He's like
Knights of Malta, huh?
He's like Sir Godfrey. He's like Sir Godfrey Wells 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. Right.
Like not as good looking.
So, so when last we left you guys, you were standing in a room in I guess either the tunnels or sewers beneath the abandoned warehouse where the fight went down. You're standing in a small room. It's well kept. In front of you is a man who's introduced himself as Zook Primage. He looks exactly like Gus Allen, except probably maybe 5-10 years older. And yeah, you guys have been talking to him. He's just told you about a special provision he's set up in the mouth's lair.
This is my notes on the topic.
Fair enough. And so yeah. So what are you guys doing? So I mean, so first, tell me what is the state of each character, and we will start with the most interesting. We'll start with Kitty.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Kitty is like broken down and like babbling in a corner.
Okay.
So
this is like pretty unnerving to Zook. I guess he's I guess maybe it's not that unnerving. He's
seen some shit there, right?
Yeah. His job is to like tend a giant mouth from beyond. So
yeah, the problem is that like
lady.
Kitty's been like sort of half paying attention, but honestly, she's not sure if the conversation going on is like real or not, or she's imagining it. But he notices that she's been reacting to certain, right? Like when he talks about some of the culty shit, she clearly gets like more agitated, and I guess the other guys are just trying to pass this off as like, whatever. Our friend Kitty's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's been like this for a little while now, so you know.
Like at least 2 years.
Okay. What about Nicola?
Well, so of course Nicola is not really like disturbed by this guy's similarity because he never knew Gus and he never knew Echevarria. I'm not sure. Even if he's maybe been shown like the occasional picture, I don't think he's
sure. No, it doesn't carry the full effect. Like this guy looked like this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, people look like each other.
It's weird that you're having sex in the picture, but the guy is having sex in the picture.
So I think Nicola right now he's kind of like hanging back, taking stock of the situation, and allowing Damon to take the lead and Kitty to, mumble.
Okay. So, Damon is pretty frustrated. At this point, he's been facing a lot of, he doesn't speak Thai, so like he needs someone to translate for him all the time. He keeps running into these people who don't give him straight answers. These people that like almost kidnapped Kitty and like just kind of get away with it. He can't seem to do anything. And now we run into this dude who's like, "Oh, I tender this mouth. I'm the mouth tender." And and Damon can't for the life of him understand why this guy would just like do this, right? And so, but he also placed explosives. So as much as Damon wants to kill this guy for even holds him responsible.
But that's where Damon is at now. Like. Just like abject murder?
Well, not abject murder, but like this guy is, indirectly responsible for everything that's happening because he could have like, He could have stopped all of this whenever. He's like, set this explosives up. He's like, I'm going to set him up, but I'm not going to, like, set him off for any reason. While people are getting, like, murdered, left and right
Sure.
by this map.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. Okay. So what is Kitty? So you said she's like babbling.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. She's kind of like mumbling off to herself in the corner, right? Like Kitty's flitting in and out of like focus in this reality here.
Okay. Does she have like moments of lucidity?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right.
But like, they're like unhelpful moments of lucidity, right? Like she'll look up and she like at that moment she knows that like timeshares are a bad idea, but like really helpful.
I mean, that's always helpful, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair. I take it back.
All right.
I mean, certainly if there's an evidence of like a shred of sanity, that would be it, right?
Yeah,
If all of a sudden she's
got
like,
a shred.
guys, we should get a timeshare, then we'll know, like, all right, well, she's completely
it's
lost.
gone.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. So Zook seems to like stand there. He seems rather at peace with you all. He says, "Is there anything else I can help you with?"
Nicola will kind of like put his.
This is your kind of place.
Nicola will. Oh, sorry. So Nicola's going to put his hand on Damon's shoulder and kind of like say quietly to him, like, let's just set off these explosives and get out of here.
I mean, that's
So
what we usually do.
I look at Zook and I say, how do we set him off?
He says, "Well, like I said, I place the explosives when the mouth is much smaller. It has grown since the I buried them in the concrete when the floor was being poured, but I'm afraid that they're in quite a precarious position. They don't have any fuses." And he holds it. He walks over to a small shelf and like pulls a box off it and like holds it out to you. You can see they're fuses that would go in like dynamite. He says, "You can use these, but
how are we supposed to get fuses to this? These explosives that are buried in the concrete."
So the piece of them that is relevant is exposed.
But underneath the mouth.
He says, "And if you wish to leave, I can show you the exit, of course."
We came here to do a job. And we'll do it.
He kind of raises an eyebrow, and he says, "You've questioned me about why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that you have a job you must do?"
We swore an oath. We're part of an ancient order.
How does Damon react to that?
I mean, he's not
He's not technically wrong.
technically. So, like, Dave's like, are you serious? There's people dying. Do you not care for the people that are up there, for the people that this affects, for the families, for the children? We gotta stop this thing.
All right. So, tell me, what do you guys do?
Alright, Nicola will grab the box of fuses out of Zook's hands.
Okay.
Which
but
way?
if they're like set in concrete, how do we like?
But he said that like he had left some part of it exposed. I guess enough that you could plant fuses, but
Okay.
the question is whether or not like there's a giant tentacle monster sitting on those exposed explosives.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, he says, if you intend to do this thing, then you won't mind if I exit with you.
Well, there's one last question. Do you know of any way to sedate or distract the monster?
He says, yes, I do. The creature becomes much more docile after a proper feeding.
You just ate like 8 people upstairs.
Yeah, come on.
How many is a proper?
He says, like I said, the creature has grown quite large.
Like the amount of 8 upstairs plus Kitty. That's the exact number required.
Just a
Kitty's
little bit
pretty
more.
thin. Sounds more like Damon.
Can we just sprinkle some sriracha on Kitty and shove her in there?
He hasn't had his
sriracha
dessert
yet?
Maybe like some cheese.
What?
Alright.
Fromage is cheese. Fromage means cheese.
Yeah,
Yes, I don't know why that's relevant.
I guess Alex is referring to the fact that in chat they called him Zouk Fromage.
Oh. Yeah, that was... Alright.
I'm gonna feed this guy to the mouth for anyone that doesn't get it.
Fair enough.
Totes.
Alright. Yeah,
So are they dragging down the like people who died upstairs to feed this thing?
No, they don't drag. They
I throw him down the hole.
yeah, they like push him into like the holes in a grate. So Zook says, "I'll take you to the mouth if you wish to go."
Yeah, let's do it.
Kitty hears this and starts, like, kind of screaming.
When you say kind of screaming, what do you mean?
I mean, I don't know about, like, full blood curdling, like, everybody, gonna, like, bring down the rocks in the hallway, but, like, she's definitely displeased by that idea. Or, like, a spider on the wall.
Just like a high-pitched whine, like.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so he like moves quickly. He starts to like walk through the hallways, past other cultists, or I guess past cultists, who seem to be like several of them seem to be like running towards the upstairs area where you were before. And after a few moments, he leads you to a like an iron door, with like a lock on it, and he like slides a key out of his clothing and like clicks it open and like pulls it off, and holds out his hand.
This guy's gonna trick us and he's gonna leave us in there.
He holds out his hand, like, for us to put something in it, or to gesture?
No, to gesture to the door.
In a moment
he's
of
probably-
lucidity.
He's pulled this trick like thousands of times. Like,
Yeah.
let's
This
go
is not
set off the
guy.
dynamite,
Oh,
guys.
guys,
Shove
don't
people
worry
in,
about
close the
it.
door.
Box. Yeah.
In a random moment of lucidity, Kitty grabs Nicola and warns him that the Germans are rearming, and then like goes back to muttering shit to herself.
So you said moment of lucidity. Just want to remind you about that.
Yeah.
I guess the technically the Germans
this
are
wasn't-
rearming at this point.
I don't think he said that was supposed to be a moment of lucidity, did he?
Oh, okay. Anyways. Okay, so he sort of steps aside. He says, "Let me know when you're done."
When we're done. So you're not coming in with us?
He shakes his head.
Hmm?
He shakes his head.
So what kind of a door is it? Is like the keyhole only from one side?
No, it had like a padlock on it, like a like an actual lock that you take off.
Alright, I'm gonna take it with me.
Okay.
I hope he didn't bring another one. He's like, oh, got another one. Click.
Yeah, wait.
He's like one of those street vendors. He opens up his jacket and he's got
That's like
lines of locks. So are
You
you
say something?
gonna walk in, Damon?
1 second. I turn to the guy and say, I feel like you owe it to those dead people up there to help finish this. And I'll spend a point of...
we could do that. Spend points.
I guess I have, like... I have intimidation, but I don't know if that's really it. Is there, like, diplomacy?
I thought there was like a.
No, it's like situational.
I have bargain. I have flattery.
I think bargain could work.
Bargain may be the closest thing here. I'm trying to
Sure,
see.
yeah. We could take a point of bargaining. That's fine.
Alright, I'll spend a point of bargaining.
No, he says.
Counterpoint. I'm leaving.
Okay. He like looks. He like holds up his hands, like turns them over. He looks and he says, "Very well. I'll help you."
All right. So what exactly do we see in this room?
You're gonna open the door? You bust it open?
Yeah. Let's tell Kitty to like look the other way for a second.
Everybody goes in with like little slits on their head.
So who's opening the door?
I'll do it.
So,
Okay.
so actually, Damon, if you're gonna reach for the door, Kitty's gonna like reach for your other hand and grab you and just say like no.
I like look at her straight in her eyes and I say, "If we have to do this, Kitty, then if not, then the past 2 years will have been for nothing." 2 years?
Okay.
1 year?
All right, sure. Kitty's just like, okay, yeah, good point. And
Okay. All right. So
I don't know.
you push the door open and you hear beyond immediately. There's this like slurping, crunching noise, and immediately you are assaulted with the intense smell of nectar, and you're gonna have to take a stability check because of your addiction to the nectar.
We got it.
Sure, we lose Damon, boys.
Wait, if we lose Damon at the same time as Kitty, it's gonna be dangerous.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, you're good. So, yeah. So you know it hits you, but you're able to stand firm. So beyond, you see a room that looks like this used to be like a. Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't Kitty addicted to nectar too now? Ah!
I mean,
Oh, no,
she's also like probably still high on nectar at this
Damn
point.
it. Fine.
Okay, so you see what looks like it used to be like a sluice in the sewer, like a collection area. Basically, it's a long room, maybe the size, like half the size of a football field, and the floor is just like a slope that goes down. As the floor slopes down, you can see that various spots in the ceiling and walls are now sporting these like giant sucker-like mouths with tentacles, like sort of like reaching out of them. And at the top of the ramp, in the ceiling, is this grate that leads to the fighting pit. And just below it are just like body parts and viscera, and they're all like some of them have kind of like dripped and like started to like sluice their way down the ramp towards the mouths. But you can see like the tentacles like sort of like lazily like grasping at like at pieces that are just a bit closer. And you can see on the far wall are several like really gross and bloody like push brooms. Yeah.
Sure.
And of course, everywhere there are buckets. The bottom part of this like sort of like sluice ramp is just a pool of this like golden red liquid. So, everybody's got to make a stability test when they see this. You're on mute, Kim.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask where the dynamite, or whether that's visible, but sure, we'll do your little stability test first.
It's like right in the well of nastiness. You gotta like reach in.
I don't have a ton of stability left.
Just use 3 stability. You can't just go super negative.
All right. And what about Damon? Oh, okay, Damon.
No, that was
Cool.
the last one.
All right, so you're all going to take 2 points of stability damage.
Oh my god.
Yes.
So I'm at like full stability, I guess now, or like,
You're what?
You're at 0.
or yeah, 0. I don't know. I've used 12 out of my 12 points of stability.
Oh, look at
Okay.
me. I have 12 stability. I'm Nicola.
Yeah, that guy is. I told you that guy was noble and stable and all that kind of bullshit.
Well, that's about to end.
Right. So I'm pretty sure you're going to take a point of sanity.
Wait, how did you lose all that stability?
Well, we keep like running into murder cults and like mouths.
I mean,
and
I thought, didn't we refresh a bunch of our stability when we came here?
I think at one point last time, I like used a bunch of points and rolled really low, and then lost further points, so it kind of like chunked my stability.
You lost like 5 stability in one roll or something like that.
That sucks. Well, actually, I just lost 5 stability in one roll just now, so...
Well, yeah, I spent 1 point and then just took 2, so that's like a...
Where the heck did you get 3 stability to spend?
Alright, so...
I thought you were like at -5.
No,
Alright,
it's my sanity.
so Nicola, you are going to lose a point of sanity there, as you see this thing just like, devouring pieces of discarded human flesh. It's all kind of coming home that the violence, the fighting, it's all on the surface of these, just consuming mouths. Like you're all just some glorified cattle.
All right.
Really,
Nicholas starts like mumbling to himself in Italian.
All right. So what are you doing, Damon?
So Damon, I look at this. What?
I mean, you look back at like Nicola, and like his eyes are like bulging, and you can just hear him like muttering something under his breath.
None of us even have the fortitude to like walk into this room. I don't know. We need Jacob Rosbach or whatever his name is.
So Damon like looks down at this like filth and nectar in disgust, and like thinking about like all of the lives that it's affected, and he looks back at Kitty, I don't know, cowering or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Kitty does. And he sees Nicola just kind of like looking around in, I don't know, crazed confusion.
Okay.
And I say, Kitty, step out of it. Nicola, now's not the time. We're almost there. We're almost out. And he looks at Zook, and he's like, and what are you looking at?
Zook just kind of like stares at you and like turns his head.
I draw. Well, I never put away my weapon, but like I point at him. I say, "Where's the dynamite?"
He like gestures towards the pit.
Can we see it?
How deep is this pit? Is it just like body parts and?
No. So I mean, the problem is the floor is sort of covered in viscera, and
Nice.
it has like tentacles, sort of like lazily like kind of moving about in the pools of nectar and body parts. He says they're along the floor.
So does the mouths and tentacles seem to be reacting to our presence right now, or are they kind of cool with it?
So they seem pretty active. Like the tentacles are kind of like moving around, and the mouths seem like hungry, like squelching and squelching,
All right.
and making those kind of noises. Yeah.
I'll kind of like grab Zook's arm and say, "Show us."
All right. Sure. Okay. So he says it's too dangerous to approach. We should pacify the mouth first.
I'm
Did
all
you just say we
ears.
passed a bunch of cultists? Let's just feed them to it.
Let's go
So
back.
I take the like one of the push brooms.
Yeah.
And I like begin to push all of the like human remains like into
Your
mouth.
mouth. Oh,
Okay, sure. So you take a broom and you like, I guess what do? You just like close your eyes and
just like yard work. It's fine.
all right,
I don't know what kind of Fargo
life.
life you're living, but
Yeah, like that's fine. I just kind of go at it very methodically and just kind of like try not to pay attention to what I'm doing, but I understand the need
Okay.
for stability.
Okay, great. Okay, so you're fine. This is all right.
Nicholas over on the other side going like, "Huh?"
So as you're kind of pushing it, you kind of like started like a big pile, and you like kind of like push it over and start pushing the pieces down. A particular piece of entrail kind of like falls off the pile there, and comes to rest a few feet away from Kitty, and as you look over, you notice half of the face of Santiago sort of staring up at you, Kitty, and you're gonna need to make a stability test.
So good.
Is Nick still there?
Anytime half of Santiago shows up, I'm so excited.
I think Kitty is frozen for me.
Oh, do you want to refresh, Nick? It looks like you're. Is he still frozen, Kim?
Yeah, unless he's been sitting there with his eyes closed for the last 2 minutes.
No. Just give a quick refresh, Nick.
It's a good freeze frame though. I'll give him that.
I can't believe it's still happening. No
Yeah,
Dave, and what do you call it?
We have to find some other way to do video, unfortunately. And that was the last we ever heard of Kitty Kim.
Very, very appropriate. I pushed her body.
Swiftly.
Saw that piece of entrail and then jumped headfirst into a mouth.
I hope that's what happens. That way, it solves two problems at once.
Well, that was it.
So Nick is dead, and so is Kitty. Oh,
There we go. Oh, he's frozen again, though.
that's fake.
All right.
Yeah, for some reason when I reloaded, it brought me to the other Eternal Eyes.
Oh, that's super
I
weird.
was confused why there was nobody there. Anyway, is everything good now?
Yes.
I think
Please
so.
go ahead.
Except Kitty's sanity.
Well,
Well, her
yeah.
stability is really what's in danger
Okay,
here.
is,
That's what I'm shooting for. I got a cinco,
Okay,
as they would have said back in Mexico City.
so you're going to take 2 points of sanity or stability damage.
All right, Kitty is now at -1 stability. Then.
All right, so you take a point of sanity damage then.
All right, Kitty takes a point of sanity damage and collapses unconscious to the ground.
Okay, well,
having let out a horrible blood-curdling shriek at the sight of Santiago's face.
Well, you don't have to collapse. I mean, you could just have to become totally.
That's what just happened.
Okay.
So, seeing what just happened, Damon slowly walks over and
So
Laughs.
as soon as the scream erupts, you can see the mouths begin to move, and tentacles they perk up and start to wriggle around, searching. You can see one of them finds some of the body parts you've kind of pushed over and begins dragging them back to one of the mouths.
it's fine.
So is Damon just gonna kind of casually yard work style push Kitty into the mouth?
Well, first, let's see how much the mouth wants. First, Damon goes over and pushes the Santiago face.
All right, Nicola will try to pick Kitty up and move her towards back towards the door.
Oh my god! I thought you were gonna say towards the mouth.
It'll be over soon. We have to satiate him.
You guys are terrible people.
You'll understand.
Okay, so Damien, you're just gonna keep pushing bodies, and Nicola, you're gonna leave the room, I guess.
I'm not gonna leave the room. I'm just gonna kind of move Kitty towards the back.
But there's these tentacles. There's holes everywhere, Ken. I don't think there's a safe place. There's mouths and tentacles all over.
I mean, you
the
could
whole
just wake
passageway.
Kitty up and get her out of the room. It's just that was a pretty awful thing that happened, and she's definitely.
No,
Yeah,
no, you
alright.
succeeded. It's fine.
I'll try to I don't know. I don't want to splash juice in her face or something like that. But
These are not the vapors with which to.
but I'll tap her lightly and say, hey, stay with us.
And it's not really casual. At the same time, Damon's trying to do it with speed and just kind of just doing the job, right? This guy said that before we blow it up, we need to satiate it. These people are already dead. There's nothing more I can do for them. So it's more ruthless efficiency than.
Okay, so Damon, give me a stealth roll here.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to do some stealth. Damon, stealth. Do I I do have stealth. Oh, nice. Oh, a lot of stealth. I
Nice job, dude.
shadow people all the time.
Well, that's a different skill.
Okay, yeah. So you're able to just keep pushing these pieces of viscera into the towards the mouth. You begin to make enough they start to tumble down on their own, and you're able to just duck under the tentacles or step over them and avoid getting touched or detected by them. And eventually a big enough mass gets on its way down the ramp and starts to slide towards one of the big mouths down there.
Okay, so I look at Zook, and I say, I quietly say, now.
He nods.
I say, where?
He says near the mouths, on the floor near the walls. It's been a long time. He says, give me a fuse. I'll go towards the right. You head towards the left. There should be two.
By the way, at Nicola's gentle insistence, Kitty will come to a bit,
Okay.
but she's kind of clinging onto his arm that he tapped her with, and looking just shell shocked.
Okay.
I'll say, Miss Kennedy, please, why don't you wait in the hallway? We'll be out momentarily.
Kitty clutches his arm harder, and does.
So I take the fuse and I say Nick or Nicola, and I toss him one of my guns.
I already have a
He
gun,
shoots
I think.
Kitty Kennedy.
Just,
Where are you going at this stage?
I understand.
No, it's her first, then self.
You heartless bastard.
Only one bullet.
I already have a pistol. You don't have to toss me.
Then I say keep watch on the mouths.
Okay.
Distract him.
I'll kind of kind of put my arm around Kitty and face her away from the mouths and tentacles, while I don't know, I guess keep watch on.
Okay. All right, sure. So Damon, give me another stealth roll as you creep past towards one of the mouth's centers.
Doesn't this dude have to make? I'm gonna be out of points at this point.
Okay, no, that's fine. All right, so you creep close. You can see it sputtering and crunching the bones as the tentacles kind of shovel these piles of viscera straight into its gullet, which you assume is elsewhere than here. And you notice a section of the floor is under a thin layer of nectar is been dug up. It's clearly been excavated and then re-cemented over.
Oh, that's the one that Zook made?
Yeah.
Okay, so I reach down and attach. Wait, it's been cemented over?
Yeah. So in the center of it, you see a small, what looks like a metal plate,
Okay.
maybe that could be opened.
Oh, okay. I reach down and pop it open if I can.
Okay, yeah. So you reach. So your fingers slide into a couple inches of nectar, and you pop it open, and you can see inside there's just a little hole that a fuse could fit in.
Okay, I put the fuse in and I try to make sure it's secure.
Okay.
And I tie it or whatever it is.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you just have to light it if that's what you want to do.
Would I know how long this fuse that I'm holding would give me?
If you had the proper skills.
Oh, as
You could-
let's say
You could take an
locksmith?
educated guess based on how quickly Fritz died.
I believe there's a demolition skill.
Oh, is that-
There's an
Is there?
explosive skill. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Pretty sure it's called explosive.
So I think that's gonna have to be the one.
There's an
Hold on.
explosive skill.
Hold on, I'm looking for it.
I
Wait,
It's fifth down on the general skills.
unfortunately do not have any points in explosives.
General skills? I have academic, interpersonal, general.
Yeah.
Explosives. Nope. Don't have it.
All right.
I'm pretty sure the only person who really had explosives was Fritz and possibly Harvey.
Fair enough. Okay.
So-
So you see,
You assume you have an hour.
I
So
look
you-
at
Zook.
Zook.
You look over at Zook, and he's standing there with the with the lighter as like a tentacle like slowly starts to like wrap around his leg. And he says, I've nothing to light it with.
What? You said he's standing there with a... Oh, he like...
A tentacle's like starting to like wrap around his leg.
Do I see that?
Yeah.
I say, Zook, watch out! And I'll take a shot at the tentacle arm that's wrapping around his leg.
Okay.
Wait, did he go crazy?
No. Why?
Because I thought you said he's standing there with the lighter, and he says, I have nothing to light.
No. He's he's not standing there with the lighter. He's standing there with the fuse.
Oh, with the fuse. Okay.
I might have said lighter. I meant fuse.
Okay, he's standing there with the fuse, and he's like, I'm an idiot, because I'm the worst. I don't even know why we're saving him.
Right.
Okay, so then seeing that and seeing Nicola take a shot,
so roll firearms there, Nicola.
You got it. So it's the part where I shoot Zook in the back of the head.
Nice. All right. So the shot rings out. It's very loud in this enclosed space, and like you can hear like a low rumble start to erupt from the mouths, and the tentacles begin to like sweep around, like searching.
All right. So I light the fuse.
Okay.
I assume it's an hour.
That's fine.
Okay. No, I assume it's like a minute or something. I have no idea. Damon has no idea, but it's like a fuse. I can only like see how fast it burns and then try to deduct from that how long I have.
Okay.
And then I start
quick math
there.
there.
Let's do a couple of test ones.
And then I start like running to where like Zook and Nicola are.
Okay, great. So the tentacle like tightens quickly around Zook's leg and begins to and like pulls him to the floor. He like lands with a splash in a puddle of nectar and begins to like slide towards the nearest gaping mouth. What are the rest of you guys doing? So Damien, you're running towards him.
Kitty screams loudly.
Yeah.
I say, we have to go. And I like drag Kitty towards the door.
Okay.
Wait, did the guy ever say what happens if we don't light the other fuse? It's just like
So-
the mouth gets blown up?
We have to light 2 fuses.
I don't know. He said there's 2 fuses.
So this guy's sliding towards the mouth?
Yeah, there's like a tentacle wrapped around his leg.
Got him.
And what is Damon doing?
Damien's like running towards him.
Well, towards the fuse. I don't care about him.
Sure.
So Damon's not in between me and that guy, right?
No.
Okay, so Gus is not Gus. Sorry. Wow.
It is Gus.
Wow.
Nicola.
No.
Well, maybe I think it's Gus. I don't know. Nicola is dragging Kitty like towards the door, and she sort of like, she's being like pushed backwards, and she sees behind him what's going on, and kind of like, there's a flicker of something in her eyes. And she says she sees the guy, dragging, and Nicola hears her go like, "Not again," and she raises up her pistol and shoots Zook in the head.
Okay. Make a firearms roll.
Why are we still letting Kitty have a gun? That seems irresponsible.
That's really the question here.
This is the one that she like.
She used up all of her weapons and other stuff, so don't worry, guys. She's probably not going to be very good at it.
Who
This
gave
is the one
her
that? She did in her like brassiere. Nobody searched that because we're all gentlemen.
Only
All
gets
right,
a
yeah.
2.
So like the shot like rings out, like bounces off the wall just near Zook,
and perfectly kills the tentacle, freeing him.
All right, so Damon, what are you doing?
Okay.
You see Luca begin to like pull Kitty out of the room, and she pulls out a gun and starts like shooting.
Okay, so I don't care.
Okay.
I take a running start, and as I take a running start, I like hold the lighter, I like cover it in my hand, and I like do like a slip and slide. Like I hold my breath, and I do like a slip and slide towards the fuse that's on the floor.
That's right. The light.
Through the nectar and body parts.
This is amazing.
All right, great. All right, yeah.
And
so give me an
try to-
athletics roll.
And I
Also,
try to
if
catch.
Damon gets out of here alive, that GM don't know what he's doing.
Hey. Oh, why don't I go pretend like and cower in the back of the room and like shoot my gun into emptiness?
Yeah, all right.
Through the nectar and body parts. Yeah.
What
You
a
ever play that on
quote.
Guitar Hero?
I was gonna say that's the new Dragon Force song.
Right.
I have 0 athletics left.
Oh man! All right, so you slide in, past. So these reburied this reburied concrete pile is like it's like a little bit of a bubble. So it's just above the surface of the nectar. You like slide next to it and like reach your lighter down, and you hear like the sparks begin to fly out. Zook like looks over at you and he says, "Help! I don't want it to end like this." And you see like his like feet are like just about to be dragged into the like this gaping maw that's like pulsating as it anticipates the flesh.
I tried to make it end better for him, but
I just gotta copy paste this for my character sheet.
Okay.
All right. Well, Nicola will like push Kitty out the door.
Okay.
And then
I assume Kitty just keeps firing until it goes click.
yeah. She's just trying to get this guy dead so he's spared what's about to happen to him.
Right.
All right. Well, assuming that none of those bullets do anything,
Yeah. I think that's safe.
Nicola will rush back towards towards Zook and try to grab his hand and drag him from the tentacle.
So the only thing I would say is that like Damon is already like down there next to him, and to like go down there is like a significantly dangerous prospect.
So the only thing that Nicola should be safe is when I see Nicola running and like reaching his hand in, I like reach for my hand up to help me get out of there after lighting this thing.
Nice.
And not
I thought Damon was okay. All right. I'll try to get to Damon if he needs help.
I mean, they're both in the same spot basically.
Well, except one of us has a tentacle around his legs,
Sure.
and
Sure.
maybe I do too. I don't know.
Don't
All
we
right.
all? Don't we all
I'll
have a tentacle around our legs?
I'll try to get to Damon as fast as possible, and maybe he will help me save Zook.
Okay. All right. So Zook like looks up at you, Damon. What do you do?
Nothing. I like look away. I like begin to leave the room.
Okay. So you can like you hear him like splashing in the nectar, and you begin to hear like a crunch, and you like look back at him for just a moment, or you can hear him like whisper like, "Please."
Gus.
All right.
Gus 3.0.
All right.
Can
So
I?
Kim,
can
Nicola. Yeah, you sort of like slide in next to him, just as like you can hear his like legs being crunched in this gigantic mouth.
It's not okay. I want to leave.
Damon is just like booking it. Damon, give me an athletics roll to get back up the slippery ramp here. All right. All right. So Nicola, you see Damon like glance at you and then begin to just like sprint up the ramp here, but he immediately like slips and falls on his face and begins like sliding back down towards the mouth.
All right. I'll stand up and try to like grab Damon before he gets caught. by
yeah,
the
give me
tentacle.
a-
Wild
athletics
bullets
roll.
hit Damon at this point.
Oh, I don't have any more athletics. Let's see how this goes. All right. That wasn't too bad.
So you grab him and begin like pulling him up, and Damon, he's like pulling you up this ramp as a tentacle, like it was like whipping around and like lands next to you and begins like searching around for your arm there.
All right, I'll yell, go! And before I start sprinting back towards the door, I'll try to level my gun at Zook's head and see if I can put him out of his misery.
Oh,
At the same time,
Okay,
I'm
fair enough.
gonna start scrambling backwards now that I'm on like good purchase,
Sure.
and I'll try to aim with this tentacle and take a shot if
Yeah,
I still
give me-
have my gun.
Give me shots.
Can't shoot for shit.
All right.
Nice rolls, Kim.
All right, so that's fine. The tentacle begins to like swing around. You can see Zook is like sort of pulled upright as his torso starts to go into the mouth, and you like line up a shot and fire it, and like hits him in the shoulder, and he like screams in pain.
Oh, Jesus.
Too real. All right,
Too real.
and you guys can get out the door if you want to. I assume you do.
Kitty's already in the hallway, it sounds like, but
Yeah,
Big
yeah. We did
shoulder shot.
all we could. I'm out of firearms points, so
Okay, fair
All
enough.
right. So standing at the doorway, like walking away, like the one distance shot. Damon's like hesitates for a second, turns around, and takes one shot at Zook.
All right.
At his head, the other shoulder.
Okay.
Oh!
All right. Yeah, you can hear like the crunching and the screaming, and you look back, like level your gun, and pull the trigger, and he goes silent.
And then I don't know. I don't lock the door. I just fucking book it. I assume I have no idea the passage of time between the lighting of the first fuse and
Yeah, I guess if we don't know, we should really just leave as fast as possible.
Just book it. Yeah.
All right. So where are you guys going?
To the exit? I imagine they have those little signs that are like red. They say exit.
No, this place might not be up to code.
Let's just ask Zook.
Wow. Of all the transgressions, this might be the worst.
So we head, or I just begin to head towards from where we came, including where we met Zook. I believe there's a staircase that led like upwards from there because we descended into his.
So that goes basically to the fighting pits.
Let's not go there.
Well, but there was a room that Kitty came in from where she got like drugged and stuff.
Yeah, I mean there are exits from the fighting pits, but you're also like led through like a labyrinth of city.
Is there another way than the one we came?
Yeah, like is there anything that we've seen?
I mean, it looks like you're in like basically like old sewers.
Okay, flow of water. Can we follow that?
Sure. Yeah. So do you guys?
Hold
I
on,
mean,
hold on. Let me pretend like I have some skill in this. Is there like architecture? No, I don't have that.
I have Streetwise. Nicola might have been used some old tunnels back in Malta to pull off one of his notorious capers, and these are not dissimilar.
Convincing. It's actually sort of convincing. I don't know if it's streetwise.
You don't think so? Is there like is there even like architecture or anything like that?
There is. Is there
I
like
don't have that, though.
Kitty does.
would
Snap out of it, Kitty.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, it might be too late for her.
Yeah, that dame has snapped her last.
how? I don't know how terrible would it be to use a point of preparedness to get like a compass or something, or like have seen a glimpse of the maps or something along those lines.
Preparedness.
Reasonably terrible. I don't know if the compass is like going to help you here.
Yeah, the compass is not going to help. Well, okay. What about like evidence collection when in terms of like
I'm looking through the skills and I actually don't see a lot that I think preparedness is probably fine.
Would you prefer Kitty Kennedy to make one last lucid note?
Well, because like we're standing there and we're all like arguing about where to go, right? We're just kind of walking in the sewers, and I'm like, "Fuck, left or right?" Oh,
Kitty does
God.
desperately want to go.
Oh yeah, so that's fine. I'll say it takes you the better part of it takes you like maybe like 4 or 5 hours of just trudging into the sewers, but eventually you like find like a grate. Go ahead, sorry.
Is there an explosion at any point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's
Please.
It's like 4 or 5 hours later, we're like, we gotta go back, guys.
This is not good.
Also, it collapsed the only exit.
Yeah, so a few minutes after you begin to like run down the sewer tunnels, and there's a tremendous explosion behind you, and like the entire tunnel shakes and like stuff falls from the ceiling.
Okay.
After trudging through the sewers for probably 4, 5, maybe even 6 hours, you manage to find like a stairway that leads to a loose grate, and you can pop it open and find and like flop yourself out into like a back alleyway somewhere in Bangkok.
So also after the explosion, as soon as the explosion happens and you guys like cheer, Kitty's screaming and like constant looking around in sheer anxiety stops, and she just kind of follows you docilely, but you can hear her like muttering something constantly for the whole 5 hours that you're wandering around.
I'm with Kitty on this because Damon is going to be like muttering as well because there's no I don't think there's anything normal. There's I mean Damon's muttering about where to go and like what to do and like the people that have died and like just like
oh yeah, no, Kitty's is some random shit that you can't quite make out.
All right.
Say Nicola kind of overhearing Damon's muttering will we'll just say to him, "Look, we just have to get out of Bangkok. Think we just made a lot of enemies. We'll figure the rest out later."
I feel like I should pour this nectar out for the homies that I carry with me.
Oh yeah, David, you're also like covered in nectar.
Yeah.
You
That's pretty
need
cool.
you need a YMCA shower stat.
I don't know what that is, but
Just
Like
like
a regular
a
shower?
I just meant like at like some public place you can
Okay.
run into and get a shower. I don't know.
look at my stuffed dog.
Yeah.
That's a real dog.
Yeah, I mean, I like as soon as we get out, I like take my shirt off and like,
Eat it.
Just alpha out everybody.
just like squeeze it out into my mouth. You don't want any of that nectar going to waste.
Oh my god.
No, I mean, I kind of try. There's no real way to get rid of like the nectar from around me. I feel like I've been submerged in it. I roll around in some of the shit from the sewer for a little while to get the smell of nectar off of it. No, I mean, I know there's like no way to what do you call it? So like, I know I've been like subjected to this for like a long time, and I'm like
Okay.
upset about it. But at the same time, I don't know where we come out in the sewers in Bangkok. I don't know. I don't speak Thai. The guy that speaks Thai is gone. This is just like a mess.
Yeah, so I'll say you kind of flop out onto the streets, and after another like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, you finally like a rickshaw finally like brings you back to the hotel where everyone else is staying, and you were like beaten and bruised, bloodied, covered in blood, both maybe your own and others, and nectar besides, and you basically haven't slept all night. It's like mid morning by the time you pull back up to the hotel. Tell me, what's Kitty doing? How's she?
So Kitty's been, in the rickshaw. I guess this is like a 8-person rickshaw, and you need me to mind him. So Damon is sitting nearer to Kitty, and has finally like you can make out everything she's saying, but it makes like absolutely no sense. She's talking like she's another person. And at one point you finally like something kind of clicks, and you recognize like a couplet, just like a couple of lines from a scene that she like performed for you guys back when you first got together as a group, when she was like showing off her acting skills one night in the mansion. She did like a scene for you guys, and you realize that she's like living one of her plays.
Okay, cool. All right. So what are you guys doing?
Showering and taking a nap.
Yeah, I guess Nicola will just kind of like collapse on the bed as soon as he gets in.
You guys like head back up to the room. You pull open the door, and you can see Frank Kearns is asleep on the bed, and and Harvey's kind of like at work doing some experiments, and you can see at the desk in the side of the room is Janet Winston Rogers like writing something at the desk, and as you step in, she like slowly takes off her glasses and like turns to look at you,
and she says, "You finally made it back, did you?"
I like just trudge in like carefully, like dripping, I don't know, all sorts of nasty and bruised and beaten up, and I say, I think we've disposed of the Bangkok nectar production. But we should probably get out of here real soon.
Janet like claps her hands really loudly and says, "Frank, get up!"
All right, he like snaps out of bed and says like, "Right away, Miss Rogers. So what is it? What is it?"
She says, "That's Winston Rogers, Frank. I've had to tell you this 1,000 times." And she says, "Get this investigator cleaned up."
All right.
And yeah.
So he runs over. He's like, "Yeah, of course, ma'am, of course." And he like runs out into the bathroom. You can hear like the tub like squeak on and like water begin pouring out. Yeah.
So she like looks over and sees Kitty in the state that she's in, and she kind of rushes over and puts an arm around her and sits her down on the bed. And she looks up at Nicola and she says, "I suppose you're the Maltese fellow I've heard so much about."
Suppose I am.
She says, "You're some kind of knight."
Well, aren't we all now?
She like sniffs at you and says, "Well, I'm certainly not. What have you done to this poor girl?"
Well, she had to endure a lot for us to get to the heart of the nectar production. I think perhaps we need to take her back to New York.
So Kitty kind of like wanders over to you, and she says, "My dears, I have something I have to tell you."
Just don't.
She looks at you very matter-of-factly, and she says, "The mall only opens when the new moon shines down from the clear sky." And then she like reaches up and just begins like clawing at her face.
How dare you besmirch Kitty's last moments with that trash?
So Miss Kennedy, and I try to like hold her hands away from her face so she doesn't.
Like you can see like she's already like there's like kind of like deep scratches in her face.
Janet Winston Rogers says, "How dare you!" and slaps both of them in the face.
I like call for Harvey.
No, that's not your line.
I call for Harvey to see if he has like a sedative or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Harvey like runs over and like injects over, and she's like, "Scene 23, stage left."
I'm assuming she mutters something about Richard Sterling as she collapses to the ground because that would only make sense.
Why does Richard Sterling not return?
Right. Richard Kennedy.
Yeah.
Reaches out and slaps Harvey as he gives
It's
her an
just a
injection.
chain of slaps. Everybody just slaps everybody else, ending with Damon. But
No, I'm in the shower. I'm in the bathroom.
It's in the tub.
Fair enough.
David's like, "Oh, this feels so good. I'm glad nothing bad has happened."
He's being scrubbed down by Frank Kern.
yeah, so Janet says to Nicola and Harvey, I don't think that Miss Kennedy's going to make it all the way back to New York in such a state. But perhaps there's a local establishment where we could set her up and get her the help she needs until she's better.
Say, I'm not sure it's safe for any of us to stay here. We might have made some powerful enemies.
Say, safe. It definitely is not safe, but it's less safe for us to bring her onto the plane with us, where there's nowhere to go. You might have ruined her, but there's no choice in taking the risk of bringing her with us once it's already been ruined. We'll leave
Ruined
here.
her? How dare you?
Also, might I remind Janet who sent her on
You're in the
this trip?
shower.
I'll say if
I know. I'm sorry.
you are the one who sent a young lady out on this task.
Janet collapses back into the armchair and says, and buries her head in her hand, and she says, I know, but I never thought it would come to this, but it's too dangerous. And she turns to Jacob Russbatch off screen and asks him where to find a local Thai sanitarium.
Yeah, you guys can find a sanitarium. That's fine.
Yeah.
Say, I'm not going to leave Kitty here in Bangkok, surrounded by nectar-frenzied gangsters, while she scratches her eyes out, and we escape halfway across the world. We can keep her sedated.
Janet says what's the name of the plane?
The Silver Sable.
The Silver Sable. She said the Silver Sable's next destination is far from halfway across the world. Where we're going, Kitty would be no less surrounded, but we would have to look out for her.
So
if you choose to stay with her, then I suppose you'll also be staying in Bangkok.
So I at this point, Damon's standing, drying himself off, in the doorway,
Just open towel,
Yeah.
my hair.
He's got his towel up around his head, but otherwise naked.
Yeah, just otherwise naked. And so So like I walked forward and I was like, having come to some senses after a shower, Damon's like, "What?" So I said, I thought we were ready to move after this. Why are we still standing around here talking?
Say they want to leave Kitty here.
Who? He's like, we're not leaving anybody. The last time we left somebody, it was, and like Damon just kind of like trails off thinking about the Yucatan.
Are we supposed to know that's what you've trailed off thinking about?
No.
That's
Charles-
a
And it
mystery.
was Rogers just like, yes, what happened? No, she says, listen, Mr. Smoke, I'm in charge here, and Kitty is definitely not coming with us. It's far too dangerous. She'll simply be a liability. We're leaving her here, and we're going.
And where are we going?
She says, well, I don't think we have much choice but to take a boat to Ko Crook. I'll tell you about it on the way.
What's in Ko Crook?
The next part of your adventure, my friend.
Say, if we're taking a boat, then why can't Mr. Kearns take Kitty back to her family?
Because he's our only pilot, and he needs to pilot the boat.
That's not how it works.
If only we had anything
That's
other
the most
resembling a
ridiculous.
pilot, but we don't. So,
Are we sure this isn't some weird hallucination and she's secretly a mouth?
I mean, are we sure this whole entire
Should we shoot Winston Rogers in the mouth just to make sure?
So Damon at this point is standing there. His hands are clenched into fists, and he looks at it and he's like, "You of all the people, you're the one that sent her on this, and now that she needs our help, you're gonna turn your back on her?"
Janet interrupts you, and she screams, "I know, but I won't have another death on my hands. She stays, and that's that."
And if she stays, she dies. So no, she doesn't stay.
But I mean, Janet Winston Rogers and I both violently disagree with that idea. There's no way that staying in a building in Thailand just means she dies, when going where we're going will basically mean she dies. There's no way.
We made
The woman's out of her mind insane, and you want to drag her into the jungle, kicking and screaming, not having any way to take care of herself?
We'll send her home.
yeah.
Frank's not flying back to New York. We need him here, not 6 weeks away on another continent.
It's not 6 weeks. We'll be back in 24 hours. That'll be our boat trip.
That's not how that works.
Well, also, being able to fly a plane doesn't mean you know how to sail a boat. So,
Yeah, but
while we're in the realm of how this is not how things work.
well, first
Alright,
of all,
Nicholas
that's
says-
kind of how things work.
If Kitty stays here, I'll stay here.
All right, I'll take Richard Sterling, Harvey Strauss, Fritz Streckner, Gus Allen, and Echevarria over to Coco.
Fritz Streichner is in many, many pieces in Malta.
Sterling's MIA since we had a fight, and
Is that what happened? I thought he just mysteriously dropped off the face of the earth.
I mean, isn't that kind of the same thing?
looks like it's
So Kitty kind of perks up and she says, "Hope you all not fighting around over little old me."
I mean, we are.
Isn't she
Janet Winston
hopped up
Rogers.
on morphine or something?
Yeah, she's delirious.
Even more so.
Nicola, go
That
over there and
helps.
say, don't worry, Miss Kennedy. You sleep now.
She says, Gus, is that you? Oh, I had this terrible dream that you had died in this terrible place, and it all meant nothing."
Say, shh. We'll talk about it later.
where the heck are my notes? I lost all my notes.
Look, I hired this guy and he can't even keep track of his notes. This is,
Reflects poorly on
What
you.
a detective.
yeah, really. Janet, while this is going on, Janet tells Frank to go and secure the services of a boat down at the docks.
Frank Kearns, he nods and he heads into the room.
I tell him to make sure he only takes one nap while he's gone.
A single nap.
We need you back post haste.
Say, perhaps we could hire a nurse or somebody to accompany Kitty back to New York.
Hire a nurse? How are you going to get her back to New York?
Hire.
I think it'd be
plane
accomplishable if you pay somebody enough, right?
Buy 2 plane tickets to New York and.
I'm just not sure that Janet Winston Rogers could be reassured enough to make that happen.
And if she was an NPC, then we'd have to use a point of assurance.
Actually, you
but
do
she's not.
actually have to use points on other PCs in the way that Charles Cthulhu works, but it's all right.
But wait,
Whatever.
so here's the question: is Nick actually taking over Winston Rogers, or is he just playing her as a NPC?
As Kitty, moving forward.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
have no control over Kitty Kennedy anymore.
Yeah, Kitty Kennedy is now an NPC.
Well,
Jenny Winston Rogers is now a PC.
So we can't use points on Winston Rogers right now.
I don't know. He's saying that the rules are that you can use points on other people. I don't know. It does. I don't want to get
It's
into
like
it.
the whole
Really.
thing, but yeah.
Anyways,
All right. Well, I'll gladly use a point of.
No, it's fine. If you guys want to send her to New York, like,
We stole all that
Whatever.
money from that dude.
that's fine.
so-
I also have
also Janet Winston Rogers has like limitless funds. The point
I
is
was
she
gonna
has
say.
no interest in doing this. Like, and nothing you've said convinces her that like sending Kitty alone with some stranger back halfway around the world to New York is better than putting her with a doctor locally that we can like come back and check on her.
I mean, you can
First of
send her
all-
with Harvey. That's fine.
like nobody's
Fine.
coming back
Send her
to
with Harvey.
like we're trying to get. Nobody's going back to LA. Nobody's going back to Bangkok. Nobody's go. There's like we made so
Well, we're
many
gonna have to
enemies.
come. We're gonna have to come back to Bangkok to fly out of here because the place we're boating to is like an hour
Well,
away.
so I say, secondly, I'm not boating to anywhere to continue my adventure until I know why.
That's fine, but I'll have to inform you on the way. There's no time to waste.
Say,
How about while we make our way to the docks? So as we get like a carriage and are getting, or as whatever, as like a rickshaw, and as
Sure.
we get into the thing, I like demand an explanation as to why we're like not flying like home across the world and instead
alright,
of
well,
staying
before we leave, I'm gonna like shove 3 giant wads of bills at
concierge.
What's his face?
Harvey
and
Kearns?
say, get Kitty to New York. Check her in somewhere. Keep her sedated.
He nods. He says, "Yes, I think I know just the place."
And I say, keep her sedated by any means
Not the
possible.
morgue.
And I like take off my like necklace and like throw it at him. My nectar necklace.
He looks at it sort of curiously, and he says, "Of course, yeah, of course. I'll do that." All right.
Alright, Nicola will reload his revolver, shove it in his belt, look at Winston Rogers, and say, alright, let's go.
All right. So a rickshaw pulls up. I don't have any picture of Bangkok streets in this newly made Roll20. So it pulls up and it begins to like pull you through the streets. By the way, Damon and Nicola, you guys are exhausted, like totally exhausted.
I've fallen asleep in the back of the rickshaw.
I am at 0 athletics right now, so this is very
Fair enough.
I'm maxed
Damon,
out.
Dr. Winston, JWR during the trip, or
well. So at least to the boat, right? Like I want to know. Like I'm not just gonna hop in a boat for like no reason. Because
so what
there's
do you say?
Well, so once we get into the rickshaw, like
Sure.
hang to the boat, I say, all right, where are we going and why are we going there?
Well, despite the fact that I'm your employer and I've never had to explain myself before,
When did Janet Winston Rogers inherit like Kitty's attitude and became a total dickhole? She was so
Kitty's
pleasant,
much nicer.
so pleasant.
Janet says, she says, listen, I heard from Dr. Strauss, and it seemed like your investigation here was going nowhere, although I now see that something terrible has happened. But I couldn't take it any longer. I had to come out here and show you the way. So I used my influence, and I found out where all that money is funneling to. The money from Mr. Loman, whose name is Danny or something. I don't know.
Daniel. Yeah.
Daniel. We almost killed him, but that was a different thing. She said all that money, the whole operation, it's funneling to Kokrook. That's where we're going to find the man we need to see.
I don't know where Kokrook is.
It's an island a few hours away by boat. Says
Nicola
Janet
has
Winston
dozed
Rogers.
off at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say
David can barely keep his eyes open, and he's halfway paying attention.
so you demand an explanation, and then you're like,
Yeah, well, you took a very roundabout way of getting to it. I thought it was going to be more direct.
I thought it was going to be more snappy.
This started 6 months ago.
I was going to have more of an arc to it.
Yeah.
All right, so they kind of doze off. What is JWR's demeanor as they sort of pass through Bangkok, next to these sleeping, and of course Frank Kern just passed out too.
So JWR is sort of surveying the surroundings, but if you were a fly on the wall, you'd see the stern face, the sneer she was giving Damon as he questioned her resolve and her information. But after everybody falls asleep, Janet Winston Rogers' face kind of relaxes, and she breathes a heavy sigh and puts her head in her hands and mumbles "Oh, poor Kitty. Such a bad end for such a lovely and incredibly talented actress."
Did you pay Harvey to kill her?
No.
I know.
Right, so I guess the rickshaw pulls up at the docks, and the boat that you hired is gassed up and waiting, and you guys will board on, and you hear the engine motor up, and it pulls out of Bangkok Harbor, heading south as the scene closes. So we will end there.
Kitty Kennedy exits.
We'll end there for tonight. This has been Live from Beyond, Eternal Lies. Thanks, guys, for playing. Any final words? No?
I just appreciate all the work that Kitty Kennedy has done over the last 2 years, or however long it's been.
I'm kind of happy that we finally had somebody go, insane instead of, dying.
What? You were both talking at once. I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. Kevin froze for me.
Oh, okay. Well,
Kim, you got to take the exit. Kevin's saying.
Yeah, you can't give him instructions when he can't hear you. Kevin wants you to play
the outro.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. If you've been watching us here on Twitch, you should definitely go and watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/livefrombeyond. And if you're catching this on YouTube, you should come watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/livefrombeyond every week at 7:30 on Tuesdays. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Good game.